Okay, let's start tonight's meeting. Welcome to Caltrans Albion River Bridge Replacement or Rehabilitation Project Virtual Public Scoping Meeting. Next slide. We really appreciate your time in attending this important meeting tonight to provide Caltrans with comments and feedback as part of the project's environmental scoping process. On tonight's agenda, we will cover the meeting rules for engagement, introduce project staff, provide a short meeting presentation, and then finally, open up the meeting to the community for our open public comment section. Next slide. Some important meeting rules for us all to remember tonight include attendees will be in listen-only mode during the presentation session. After the presentation, there will be a public comment session, which you will be able to provide helpful comments to Caltrans on the project. And as a note, if you are participating in this virtual meeting, please be advised that the meeting is being recorded. The recorded presentation will be shared on the albionriverbridge.com webpage and via Caltrans Facebook and YouTube social media sites. Next slide. And now to cover Caltrans Title VI statement. Caltrans ensures that no person in the state of California is excluded from participation in, denied the benefits of, or otherwise subjected to discrimination in Caltrans programs, policies, procedures, activities, and services on the grounds of race, color, national origin, sex, age, or disability. Next slide. Now let's introduce our project staff who are with us on this WebEx virtual meeting tonight. My name is Matt Derby, and I'm your meeting facilitator, and I'm from HDR Engineering. And now the Caltrans project staff with us tonight. We have Manny Machado, Public Information Officer, and he's going to be tonight's presenter of a presentation. We have Frank Demling, our project manager, Liza Walker, Senior Environmental Planner, Jamie Mattioli, Corridor Manager, Cody Long, Project Engineer, and Brian Simon, Design Senior. And in addition, we have a bunch of our project support staff with us from HDR and Stantec also on the call tonight. Next slide. Okay, to take us through tonight's presentation, here's Manny Machado, Public Information Officer for Caltrans District 1. Manny?
All right, thank you, Matt, and good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Well, why this scoping meeting? Caltrans is initiating an environmental impact statement in Section 4F evaluation for the Albion River Bridge Rehabilitation Replacement Project consistent with the National Environmental Policy Act. NEPA requires the lead agency to conduct an early and open process for determining the scope of issues to be addressed and for identifying the significant issues related to a proposed action. This public scoping meeting is scheduled to allow agencies, organizations, and members of the public the opportunity to provide comments on the scope of the information and analysis to be included in the EIS. And moving on, the environmental process prior activities. In April 2015, Caltrans issued a notice of preparation to inform the public that environmental impact report was being initiated as a requirement of the California Environmental Quality Act. The NOP also initiated the CEQA scoping process to gather information from project stakeholders. Since April 2015, the Caltrans project team has met with project stakeholders. In April 2015, for the purpose of NEPA, Caltrans initiated an environmental assessment. And moving to our next slide, the project's environmental document in late 2021, Caltrans made the determination to elevate the NEPA environmental document from an EA to an EIS. Caltrans is now moving forward and preparing technical analysis to support the draft EIS to meet NEPA requirements and the draft EAR to meet CEQA requirements. A joint EAR-EIS environmental document will be prepared. The EAR-EIS will be consistent with California law and regulations, CEQA and its guidelines, as well as related state environmental statutes and regulations. All federal laws, executive orders, and regulations applicable to transportation projects will be followed. Stakeholder and community engagement. Public input from the community, project stakeholders, and those who have an interest in the project is a very important part of the scoping process. The community can add value by providing helpful comments and feedback to Caltrans on environmental topics that could be included in the draft environmental document. In our next slide, the project purpose and need. The purpose of this project is to either replace or rehabilitate the seismically and structurally deficient Albion River Bridge with a structure that would ensure the safety and reliability of this critical link on the state highway system. Now, the project purpose includes addressing the structural and seismic deficiencies of the bridge and approach roadways, ensuring uninterrupted traffic movement on State Route 1, providing wider shoulders on roadway approaches and bridge deck, improving safety and access for bicyclists and pedestrians, reducing ongoing maintenance costs, minimizing traffic delays associated with bridge inspection, maintenance, and repairs. Now, the project need is to address several critical deficiencies associated with the existing bridge, improve structural and seismic deficiencies of the bridge and approach roadways, high maintenance cost, meet the multimodal needs of the community, pedestrian, bicycle, and equestrian. Correcting these deficiencies would improve safety for all users and reduce the chance of catastrophic bridge failure. Now, the project alternatives, a reasonable range of alternatives for detailed study are currently being considered in the project's draft environmental impact statement. Potential project alternatives in the study include no action alternative, bridge replacement alternative, bridge rehabilitation alternative. Here is how each project alternative is generally defined. No action alternative. The no action alternative assumes no improvements other than those implemented as part of routine maintenance. And moving to the next slide, as bridge replacement alternatives. The bridge replacement alternatives would replace the existing Albion River Bridge with a new bridge. Various bridge replacement concepts will be considered during the scoping process, including west alignment constructed to the west of the existing bridge, east alignment constructed to the east of the existing bridge, and alignment constructed slightly west of the existing alignment. Bridge rehabilitation alternatives. The bridge rehabilitation alternatives would include rehabilitation of the bridge for motor vehicle use by widening of the bridge and upgrading the bridge rails, or rehabilitation of the bridge as a pedestrian-only bridge alongside one of the bridge replacement alternatives. The bridge rehabilitation alternatives would require major work to extend the service life of the existing Albion River Bridge. The operability of the bridge would need to be maintained while addressing structural deficiencies, geometric deficiencies, and operational reliability of the bridge. And moving to our next slide, the environmental analysis document, as resources and topics that are studied as part of the environmental process include cultural and historic resources, community resources, parks and recreational areas, threatened and endangered species, wetlands, coastal resources, navigable waters, hazardous waste and contaminated materials, floodplains, noise, air quality, visual resources. A thorough analysis of potential direct, indirect, and cumulative environmental impacts will be conducted. Next slide. Anticipated environmental permits and approvals. Potential permits and approvals for the project include the following cooperating and participating agencies: the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, the U.S. Coast Guard Bridge Permit, National Marine Fisheries Service, U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, relevant California state and local agency permits and authorizations. And the project schedule, milestone, virtual public scoping meeting newspaper ads featured in the Mendocino Beacon and Fort Bragg Advocate News, April 14th and 21st, 2022. 30-day public comment period, April 15th to May 20th, 2022. Notice of intent published into the Federal Register, April 19th, 2022. Virtual online public scoping meeting that you're attending right now, May 5th, 2022. Circulation of draft environmental document, April 2023. Project approval and final environmental document, April 2024. Final design, June 2026. Begin construction, May 2027. And completion of construction, October 2031. That will do it for the presentation. Again, thank you for joining us, and I will send it back over to Matt. Matt?
Next slide. Thanks, Manny, for that informative presentation. Now we are at the part of the meeting where we will be taking public comment. But before we start, here are some tips on providing comments at tonight's meeting. First, please use the raised hand feature in WebEx to place yourself in the queue to make a comment. That could be on the right-hand side of your screen in the participant box. You can also raise your hand while you're using the phone by pushing the *3 keys on your keypad to raise your hand as well. When making a comment, please state the following information, including your full name, the name of the business or organization that you represent, if applicable. Also, you can turn on your camera while making a comment if you wish to be seen on video. When making a comment, you will have a total of 3 minutes to speak via countdown timer. Once the timer counts down to 0, the microphone audio will automatically be discontinued after your 3-minute period expires. Though you are providing verbal comments at tonight's meeting, we encourage you to send in your detailed written comments to Caltrans by US mail or email, and we'll have a little bit more on that a bit later. In addition, there will be no yielding of time that will be made for other speakers, as we have a lot of people in attendance and for tonight's meeting. And as a reminder, all comments will be recorded and shared online. Next slide. So with that, our public comment session is now open. To the right of the screen is a reminder on how to raise your hand to make a comment. So let's begin. Okay, I'm looking at our attendee list, and again, if you'd like to make a comment, use the raise hand feature in WebEx, or if you're on the phone, please use *3 on your keypad to raise your hand.
Matt, it looks like we have a few people with their hands raised.
Okay, unfortunately, I cannot see it on my side, so why don't you call out their name and unmute them, and then I can go through the process.
Okay, the first person that I see in the queue is Lori. Lori, I'm going to go ahead and unmute you now. Lori, would you like to have your camera on, or would you rather just stay with your camera off?
I'll stay with it off because I'm on a phone, and I'll for sure hang up on myself or something ridiculous if I touch anything else.
Okay, perfect. So your time for comment starts now.
Thank you. My name is Lori Montserrat. I'm representing myself. I'm a fairly new resident to the area, and I was wondering, and forgive me if I missed this, if Caltrans has notified area tribes and gone through consultation for this potential work. Thank you.
Hey, thank you, Lori. Thank you for your question. Tonight, we are taking comments. What we will do with the questions is after the meeting has been conducted, we will put together an FAQ sheet of all of the responses and publish that to the website. If you'd like to use the rest of your time for a comment, that would be appreciated. Otherwise, we do have your question that we have recorded.
I just had that one question. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you so much for your
I-
time. We really appreciate it as well. And we'll make sure to include your question on that FAQ sheet. Thank you.
And just a reminder for folks, after you finish your comment, please put your hand down if you don't have another comment to make, just so that we can see the other people that are in the queue. And it looks like the next person that we have is Bill Heel. Bill, I'm gonna go ahead and unmute you now. Would you like to be on camera?
No, thank you. I don't have my camera on. It's broken at the moment.
Okay.
This, why does this seem like deja vu to me? It seems like we went through this whole process some years back and nothing seemed to happen except we made a circle. And if anything, we've come out for the worse because now we have that really ugly spot on the end of the Albion River Bridge where Caltrans made a big gouge in the berm there in order to do some whatever geologic kind of work. And we never heard anything about what happened to that, which as the public, I think we have a right to know. And will you answer this now, or should I just keep on complaining about Caltrans?
Thank you so much, Bill, for your, I think you have a comment that's kind of like a question, if you will. What we can do is, because it's in question format, we can make sure that it is answered on our FAQ sheet. We would love to take any additional comment that you may have on the project,
Okay.
as we can include it as part of the record.
Okay, I'm very fond of the Albion River Bridge, and I've been driving over it for 50 years. I really, one more question, I guess, is it seems to me that you're assuming you must have some data to back it somewhere that it's been an expensive bridge to repair or maintain. And maybe that's the excuse that you haven't maintained it. But I would like to see the maintenance record on it, because it seems to me that if there's something that over the years I've seen Caltrans work on this bridge not very often, and that right now I know that it has a lot of delayed repair, but I don't think you can take and count the work that you haven't done on it as work that you have. And hopefully we can, that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Okay. Well, no, thank you so much, Bill. I really appreciate it. We have your comments and your questions down, and we will make sure that we get back to them after this meeting. Thank you so much. Now, Ali, I can see the attendee list with the hands up. I think next up we have Rexanne Wern, W-E-H-R-E-N. You can, if we can unmute Rexanne. Rexanne, would you like to turn on your video and be seen as part of your testimony?
You can, if that would be any help. I'm not sure how it would look. I can't see it.
Okay, no problem. We'll try to get you up there and get your video on as part of the testimony here.
Jen, you should be able to turn your camera on now. It's the button at the bottom that says video.
Did that do it?
Yes.
There you go. Now we can see you. Okay, let's start with your comment. You have 3 minutes.
Okay. My name is Rexanne Warren, and the organization, I'm a director of the Coastal Commons Research Incorporated. We'd like to make sure that on the biological resources, that there's a complete analysis of the biological resources and a comparison of the rehabilitation project versus the replacement project in terms of the biology habitats, especially that it's active salmon stream of both coho and king salmon, and also of the near shore environment that supports other varieties of terrestrials, as well as the bay, which supports the perch and other users of the bay, including crab. And also that it evaluates the influence upstream of the habitats for the marbled murrelet, the blue herons, the cormorant nesting, and the and foraging areas that of the birds that will be going through the bridge and the area, both in terms of the construction influences and the long-term influences. In the section on recreation, we want to make sure that they really consider the boating, diving, and kayaking individuals who use the port of Albion. Albion was recommended to have a port authority, and that never happened either. And so we don't have exactly an authority agency to put forward the needs of the recreationists. So I hope that that will be included. We're very concerned that the historic landmark, which is the bridge, both federal and state registered historic landmark, be maintained and not simply taken down and eliminated. It's a wild and scenic river as well for the Albion, and this is really is an influence on our economic well-being here too. The fishing, the tour boats, occasionally the campers that bring their own boats and use this. All of these should be evaluated as well. We have two major restaurants right on the bay, are very close, and tourism is a big part of our economy as well. We don't have a state park like every other unit along this coastline does. What we have is the bridge, the campground, the upriver touring as well. And so we want to make sure that and that the aesthetic section of the EIR also includes tourism, the historic landmarks, both the bridge and the flats down below that have a historic component, and also scenic and visual components. And we want to hope there will be a consideration of public access, which is delineated in our of that there is by fee only, and that there is no public parking. We'd like to see some public parking included in some way, which may include buying a partial section of the flats down below to have a public parking that is accessible. Right now, you have to walk down a very steep and long road to be able to utilize the beach.
Hi,
So,
Roxanne, thank you so much. I think your 3 minutes is up for your comment. We do have it recorded, and we thank you for your time. I'm so sorry to have to cut you off. We do have other people in providing comment tonight. What I do encourage you to do, because you have great comments and stuff like that, and you probably have a lot more to cover, we do encourage you to please send in those comments via email or written comment form to Caltrans, and I'll cover that a little bit later on how you can send it in. I want to make sure that you can get your full comment in. Thank you so much, Roxanne. Okay, next up, let's see here. We have, and Roxanne and Bill, if you could actually tap your raise hand icon to remove your raised hand, that would be awesome. Thank you so much if you both can do that. Next up, we have a call-in user with a 510517 telephone number. So you're up next. And I think
Hi, that's
you are
me.
calling in. You probably don't have video capabilities right now.
That's correct.
Okay, so if we
Can
could
you hear
get
me?
you to, yeah, I can hear you perfectly. Can you hear me?
Great.
Great.
Yes. Okay.
If you
So
could
my name is
state,
Allie Van Zee.
okay,
Hi. And I actually live in Fort Bragg, so I'm a local resident and I use the bridge frequently. I would like to amplify Roxanne and Bill Heil's comments. I agree with both of them and I would like to add to them. I stand for rehabilitating this iconic bridge that is now something that is very, very popular and well photographed by visitors to the Mendocino area, and has been deemed structurally sound by two of the top timber trestle bridge, vehicular timber trestle bridge structural engineers in the world. If Caltrans would perform its yearly maintenance, which it has failed to do, it has another at least 75-year lifespan. You know this. We have sent you information on this. This is in your record already, but I'm making it clear for those of the people who may not know who have called in to listen tonight. Caltrans has used the cheapest subcontractors possible in order to provide, quote, maintenance, end quote, on this bridge. They have used incorrect bolts. They have used materials that have allowed water into those bolts. They either are doing this on purpose so that the bridge will fail and they can replace it, or they don't know what they're doing. Both scenarios are really not acceptable. Caltrans destroyed the area Bill was mentioning, which is at the north end of the Albion River Bridge and just south of the historic and iconic, well, not actually historic, but iconic Albion River Inn, for purposes of a seismic study for the bridge, the results of which have not been made public, and I think we all know why they have not been made public, because that hillside on both sides would not support the structure that they are intending. So, and they destroyed this area, taking out a number of eucalyptus trees that did not need to be removed, that created more wind for the town of Albion, that destroyed a natural course of water that was runoff down towards the beach and a wetland at the bottom. And they knew this was going to happen. They did it anyway. So I'm here to say that Caltrans has never met a CEQA restriction or requirement that it has, or maybe I won't say never, let's say has rarely met a CEQA requirement that it deems necessary to follow. So what is our assurance that any work that they would undertake at the Albion River Bridge would comply with CEQA restrictions? Of course, the California Coastal Commission is paid, what is it, $6 million a year? Frank, you can correct that. $6 million a year for staff salaries. So, of course, they greenlight your projects on the coast, no matter where you want to do anything, no matter what you want to do, and EIRs be damned. Maybe it's just $1 million a year, but I think it's like what you have the figure of what you're paying out to the Coastal Commission. It's an upsetting and tactic that you have used to do projects on the coast that are unnecessary, unwarranted, with little regard to coastal environment, to the income and tourism that areas like Mendocino are highly
So thank you for your comment. I'm sorry we had to cut you off here at the 3-minute mark there. So thank you for your comment. We do have it recorded, and we encourage you to also send us an email or a comment via US mail, so that if you have any additional points that you would like to cover, that we do get them. But thank you so much for providing us with your comment. If you could push *3 on your keypad, then that will take your raised hand out of the queue. Thank you so much. Next up, we have Anna Marie Weibel. I hope I'm not mispronouncing your name, but if I am, I apologize in advance. Anna Marie, would you like to be on video? Would you like to have your video turned on? Let us know.
Sure. I wasn't quite ready. I was gonna let you know, but I guess I let you know, so I'll just go ahead and continue. Like Ali and also Bill Heil, who talked earlier, you can, am I on video?
You're actually, would you like to be on video? We can place you on video.
Sure.
Okay,
Can I
let's
start with the 3 minutes?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
what
wanted
we'll
to
do
be
is,
on video.
hold on 1 second, and we'll put you into video
Okay.
queue, and we will restart the clock for you.
Anne Marie, you can go
Thank
ahead
you.
and turn your camera on now. It should be the button at the bottom that says video.
Oh, okay, sorry. Okay, thank you.
Okay, let's start.
Okay, just like Bill Heil and Ali Van Zee, I'm a member of Albion Bridge Replacement. I was not involved with the attempts by Caltrans around 87 to build a road going inland, but for whatever reason that was disregarded. I got involved around 2015. That's when I first heard about this craziness of wanting to tear down this amazing iconic bridge that is now 78 years old. And as was discussed earlier, is statewide and nationwide historic bridge because of its amazing craftsmanship, because of its beautiful design that fits in like a glove, you know, a hand into a glove, because of the materials that were used during war times and that the concrete was not available. And the Douglas fir is the strongest wood available. So, you know, as others said, and another engineer in addition to the two that were mentioned was also agreeing that this bridge can be there for a lot longer. And it is what I was hoping, as you advertised in your NOI, I think that you will have another scoping meeting, that you advertised several meetings, not just one. I was hoping that we have more than 1.5 hours tonight. And if that's not possible tonight, then make the next meeting a 3-hour meeting and do it in person if possible. You listed all kinds of deficiencies, but I'm also in favor of preserving this bridge, but not preserving the way you listed in your flyer, where you want to make it wider. And I do want a seismic retrofit, and the railing should be according to historic sensibility, just like Noyo Bridge took 12 years for the public to fight for better railings. And I'm running out of time of so many things to say. The sea is the best around here. The Coastal Commission issue is a conflict.
Hi, Anne Marie. Thank you so much for your comment tonight. We will make sure that that gets recorded. And I encourage you, because you did have a few other items in there, to please send Caltrans your comment via email or US mail, as it's very important to get into this process. So we invite you to do that, and we'll cover that a little bit later on how you can do that. Thank you so much for your comment. If you could tap the hand icon, the raise hand icon there, and remove it, that would be great. Thank you so much, Anne Marie. Next up, we have Norbert Dahl. Norbert, if you would like to be on video, please let us know at this moment, then we can put you into a video mode.
Please do.
Okay, thank you, Norbert. Let's put Norbert into video mode.
Okay, you should have the ability to turn your video on now.
I am
It's the button at the bottom that says video.
right. I have done that, and it says stop video, but I
No,
don't.
you're good. Norbert, we can see you. Perfect.
Okay,
Welcome
but
aboard.
I can't see. But it's not being transmitted because I've got the public comment session.
Oh yeah,
slideshow.
the public comment session slide will still stay up. We can see you on video as you are providing your comment, and you are good to go, Norbert.
Very well. Norbert Dahl, Sacramento, good evening. I have about a dozen comments and requests. First of all, the iconic and historic Albion River Bridge, on which I have worked since 1965, needs to be preserved and sustainably maintained, repaired, seismically retrofitted, and enhanced with in-context pedestrian and bicycle way components, rather than be removed, destroyed, or rehabilitated, as Caltrans and the Highway Administration use those terms. Now, at the outset, I'd like to be clear. One of the slides during the Caltrans presentation was that Caltrans and the Highway Administration are now doing a joint California CEQA EIR and a federal NEPA EIS. Is that correct? Yes or no?
This is for comment. This is a comment session only. I cannot answer any
Okay,
questions at this point, but we
Okay,
can.
so I took a screenshot of that slide. I therefore take it that sometime between the time that the NOP and NOI were sent out and published, that rather than just doing an EIS, Caltrans and the Highway Administration now propose to do both. We commend you for doing that. Quick questions. What is the proposed action or project that the EIR and EIS will analyze? It's not clear from the NOI, NOS. Similarly, what is the description of the proposed action or project, and where is it posted for public review? Next, where is the description of the proposed feasible alternatives to the proposed action? We do not see any feasible alternatives. The three that are referenced both in the Federal Register and in the newspaper and flyer notices are all proposed alternatives that are inconsistent with the federally approved California Coastal Management Program, the LCP, and therefore not available. Similarly, we request that the environmental assessment be posted to the Caltrans website. We think that the no action alternative, which is limited to routine maintenance, is a straw man, because routine maintenance, as Caltrans has repeatedly demonstrated, is insufficient to maintain and preserve the bridge. Next, the rehabilitation alternatives are also not feasible, again, because they cannot be approved under existing law. Next, the list of EIR and EIS topics is incomplete. I will submit additional written comments to address that. And significantly, the less than 1 year time frame for doing the field work is grossly incomplete to do the studies that need to be performed. Finally, I request that you incorporate all 2015 scoping comments in these proceedings. Thank you and good evening.
Thank you, Norbert. Thank you for your comments and your questions. And your questions will be incorporated into our FAQ. Thank you so much for your comments tonight. Okay, next up, we have Jim Heed on our list to make a comment. Hi, Jim. Would you like to turn on your video and be seen?
Sure.
Okay, perfect. What we're going to do, Jim, is we're going to move you into a video mode, and just hold on 1 second until we give you the go ahead.
Hi Jim, you should be able to turn your camera on now.
And start video. There we go. And there I am.
Perfect. We can see it now. Okay, let's start with your comments. You have 3 minutes.
Thanks very much. My name is Jim Hyde. And
Great.
first, I endorse in its entirety the letter sent by the Albion Bridge Stewards, of which I am a member, earlier this afternoon. The rest of these comments, though, are my own. First, the cumulative impact of any proposed construction needs to take into account the proposed adjacent projects in Albion, from the proposed Salmon Creek Bridge replacement to the so-called Navarro Safety Project a couple of miles south. It really appears that Caltrans is attempting to piecemeal its plans for Highway 1 and Albion, but taken together, all of these projects have a significant environmental and economic impact. That cumulative impact must be addressed. Caltrans always says, no, these projects are separate. And they might be separate on spreadsheets and in budgets, but on the ground, they connect, they overlap, and every single one of them impacts the beauty and the economy of this part of the coast. As to the Albion River Bridge, because this bridge has both state and federal historic designation, the only correct course of action is to maintain the bridge in its existing state, including its historic guardrail and all the other features that make this unique and historic bridge the special structure that it is. It's possible to construct pedestrian and bicycle walkways on the west side of the existing structure in a way that's architecturally consistent with the bridge. And the preservation of this bridge is important because this area's economy is built on a foundation of preservation, of historic bridges, towns, buildings, and the largely unspoiled environment. It's all about preservation. It's what the Mendocino coast has to offer as a draw to the millions of tourists who come here every year. The beautiful Bixby Creek Bridge in Big Sur is a great example. It's a historic landmark and a tourist attraction. It's part of the economic engine of tourism in that area. This could and should happen with the Albion River Bridge too. Every time someone sees this bridge for the first time, they say, wow, it's an architectural treasure, and it's an economic resource. It's beautifully designed, beautifully engineered. It's in excellent condition, despite some neglect, and there's no engineering and economic reason that it can't be preserved for years to come and for a lot less than the $100 million that Caltrans is guesstimating for its replacement now. I'll be following up with additional comments before the May 20 deadline, but that concludes my comments at this time. Thank you very much for the time and for this meeting.
Thank you so much, Jim. Most appreciated are your comments, and we'll make sure that that gets in. If you could turn off your video and then also turn off the raise hand icon, we would totally appreciate it. Thank you so much. Next up for a comment, we look like we have a call in, which is with Mary W. That's the only initial for the last name there, Mary W. Mary, are you a phone call, a cell phone caller on this one?
No, I am not. I'm here on my iPad.
Oh, okay. Do you want to be on video? Do you have video capability on your iPad?
I do.
Do you want to be on video? I can place you into a video mode.
That's just fine. Thank you.
Okay, Mary. Let's put Mary into video mode.
Okay, Mary, you should be able to turn on your video now. There should be a little video button at the bottom of your screen.
Okay, it's not letting me do this. So I'll just continue on the audio part.
Yeah, no problem. Yep.
Yes, my name is Mary Walsh, and I'm chair of the executive committee of the Mendocino group of the Sierra Club. And first off, I have to say, I really object to the format of tonight's meeting. I have found it to be really difficult to access, and certainly not in the spirit of a public meeting. Not necessarily that it is a Zoom meeting, but the WebEx application I find to be very difficult. Sierra Club is very, very concerned, of course, with the environment. And we're are a little bit dismayed at Caltrans calling an alternative the rehabilitation, when rehabilitation is not really what is described in your alternative description there. We're also concerned with views from the sea. What will it look like? There has been very little explanation or description or of what would be seen from the ocean side, especially further out in the ocean, and those views. We are very much in favor of the preservation of the bridge, certainly with maintenance, which has not occurred to any serious degree in many, many years. We will be submitting further comments by mail before the 20th of the month. And I'd like to thank you for whatever this meeting is. Certainly not a public meeting.
Thank you so much, Mary, for your comment. We really appreciate it. If we could have you, actually hit the raised hand icon there so that you could get out of the queue. Perfect. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you for your comments. Next up on the, let's see here. I think I'm looking at this, Allie. It looks like we have the same two last people in the queue that that provided comment before.
That's correct.
Okay, because their hands are still up. Okay, great. Is there anybody else that has joined this WebEx webinar or has called in that would like to make a public comment as part of the scoping process? Oh, we do have somebody that's shown up here. We have Carrie Durkee. Carrie, would you like to be on video or would you just like to be in audio mode?
Video is fine. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, we can hear you perfectly. Thank you, Carrie. So let's start you with your comment. You have 3 minutes.
So I too want to offer a comment on this public meeting. It feels like the old way of doing things, and it's, you know, you have a lot of wonderful people that you're speaking to here, a lot of on the ground information. People understand what's happening, you know, that you have these projects aligned, as Jim Hyde said, not necessarily the same project on the books, but it's the same project on the coast. And it just seems like there's so much good knowledge here with the people who have been presenting. They've been doing research for years. They've kept on this. The bridge is such a valuable aspect of the whole community. For Caltrans to go just business as usual from the state point of view and how to make, you know, further access for large vehicles seems a disregard for the community that you are working with here. I'm a founder of a group, co-founder of a group called Grassroots Institute, and we collaborate to work with people to find solutions in their communities for the common good. And I sure would like this system to change in the long run. Okay, and I really want to say that I'm behind everybody with all their comments, and even, you know, we even actually started out with hoping that the Native peoples would be honored. And I would like to end with that. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Carrie, for your comment, and thank you for coming out tonight and sharing your thoughts. Okay, so do we have anybody else wishing to make a comment tonight? If so, please use the raise hand feature in WebEx to make a comment. And if you're calling in by phone, again, use *3 on your keypad to raise your hand. And it looks like we have another person here. Rio Farfrey. I hope I'm not mispronouncing your name. I'm so sorry if I am. But Rio, would you like to be on video?
No, not necessarily. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear. Great. So what we'll do is we'll leave you in audio mode, and let's start with your comment. You have 3 minutes.
My comment is I would like to see slides that show the plans. I missed the slides at the beginning, so I would like to know where to find those slides. And also I would like to know, I would like to see the plans because I would like to see the approaches to the bridge and how that will affect the immediate area. In addition to the bridge, I know that you're going to be changing the road up to and, well, on both ends of the bridge. And I would really like to see plans or visuals for how that is going to look, because I think that will really impact the area. And I would like to see how it is going to impact the area, especially regarding the Albion Bridge, regarding the houses that are just to the east, northeast of the highway, right before the bridge, and also right south of the bridge. How is this all going to look? Because I think that that is really, really important. I'm a visual person, so talking about this means nothing. I need to see a picture, a plan, an architectural plan, engineer's plan of this and how it is going to impact the areas to each side of the bridge, whether or not we amend the bridge to have pedestrian areas or save the original bridge or whatever. I believe eventually there will be changes, and I'd like to be able to see those. And that is my comment. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Rio, for coming out tonight and providing us with your comment and some of your questions there. We will make sure it gets into our record. Thank you so much. If you could now unraise your hand on your WebEx, that would be very, thank you so much for doing that. Oh, it just raised again, unless you have another question. Okay. Anybody else would like to be in the queue for the questions here? Let's see. I'm sorry, the comments here. Anybody else attending tonight that would like to provide a comment? Okay, so we do have another person. We have call-in user number 13. I'm thinking that you're on a cell phone, so you don't have video capabilities, and it will just be audio, correct?
Correct.
Okay, perfect. If you could state your name and the business or organization that you represent, if applicable, that would be a great way to start. And we can start your three minutes.
Thank you. This is Janet Eklund, and our family's lived on the coast for over 120 years, right here in Albion. My family's watched things change. I've watched things change. But I would like to say that please preserve the Albion River Bridge. Do not replace it. We have information from engineers that say that bridge can last decades longer. And we do not want the speed limit to increase. We want the speed limit to slow down. We have a 55-mile-an-hour speed limit going through the turns where they're talking about safety problems, and we need that to be reduced to 45-mile speed limit or lower. I mean, when you go through Little River, it's 35 miles per hour speed limit. And we are a rural community. We would like to approach safety by slowing the traffic down, not making the highways wider. And also, I'd like to just say that where can I see the plans that Caltrans has to rehabilitate the bridge? Because my understanding is not real clear, but I would like to stress, please preserve the Albion River Bridge. You know, give it the seismic retrofit that it needs for earthquake, but don't destroy its value. Thank you. Thank you for everything. Thank you.
Thank you, Janet. Thank you for your comment as well as your question, and we will make sure that your question makes it onto our FAQ. And thank you again for your comments. Any other attendees would like to make a comment? Please use the raise hand feature in your WebEx. And if you're calling in by phone, please use *3 on your keypad. And I think we do have another person here. Okay, so we have, I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name, Dobie Dolphin, up next for a comment. Dobie, can you hear me? Hi, Dobie, can you hear us?
You should be unmuted now. I think you keep pressing the mute button.
Hi, Dobie. Let's unmute. Okay, there you go. Don't push any mute buttons, and I think you can just chat right now. Can you hear us, Dobie?
I think maybe we should come back. I think we have another commenter.
Okay, great. Dobie, I think we're having some technical difficulties with your audio, but I do remind you that you can send in your comment via email or US mail to Caltrans, as we definitely want to hear from you. We'll try to work out the technical difficulties so that maybe you can come on a little bit later, but if that doesn't work, please send in your comment via email or US mail, and I'll be covering that a little bit later. Okay, let's move on to the next person. I'm so sorry, Dobie. The next person we have up is Arlene Warren Reese. There's many people there, I don't know. It looks like there's maybe 2 or 3 names there, but I'll just say the first name, Arlene. Would you like to be on video?
No, thank you. And actually, the first name is Warren.
Okay, Warren. Okay, sorry, it has a bunch of names in your line there, but thank you, Warren, for joining us tonight. You have 3 minutes, so we'll start your clock.
Thank you. In the years that I've been attending these meetings off and on, it has continually come up from Caltrans that the bridge is too expensive to maintain. Yet they talk about it costing maybe $1 million a year, which is a lot of money, but they're talking about $100 million and perhaps now plus to rebuild the bridge, to take down the old bridge and put up a new one. Well, that could see us for easily 70 years, given inflation. So that is my comment. I hope they don't do it because monetarily, economically, it's not a bright idea. Thank you.
And maybe I'm Arlene, and I'll use the other minutes.
Hi, Arlene.
Really want to preserve the bridge. And, you know, I don't have a lot of faith right now in Caltrans fulfilling their promises. Looking at the north end of the Albion Bridge, as a result of the geological surveys that never were, we were never given the results of, and seeing the conditions of the berm there leaves me with very little trust of what would happen with removing all those berms on either side for a new bridge. And it is not justified to demolish the Albion River Bridge. We want to preserve it.
Thank you.
so much.
I guess that's what we have to say.
Okay, well, Warren and Arlene, thank you so much for your comments and being on the same line there. How efficient. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's see if we have another test. Let's see here, comment coming in here. Let's try to see if Dobie is able to, let's try one more time with Dobie. Hi, Dobie, can you hear us? Okay, Toby, I think you're still having mic issues. And we thank you for calling in today or joining us via WebEx. But please do send in your comments via email or US mail. We want to make sure that you definitely get in your comments. Thank you so much for being a part of this tonight. I'm sorry that the microphone issue is going on. Okay, anybody else for on our attendee list here that would like to make a comment? Again, use the raise hand feature in WebEx to comment. And if you're calling in by phone, please use your *3 on your keypad to also make that comment. If you've already commented, please use the *3 key on your keypad on the phone to unraise your hand, and also unraise your hand in WebEx as well. That helps us keep track of everybody. Okay, it does not look like we have any new commenters. Anybody would like to make a comment? We have 27 more minutes here to go, and we definitely invite everybody to make a comment. Allie, do you see any new commenters on your side?
I do not. It's just people who have commented before.
Okay, great. Okay, well, it's 7:03 p.m. and we have 27 more minutes for comments. Again, we do want to hear from everybody. So if you have not had the opportunity yet to speak, we definitely would love to hear from you. So please use the raise hand feature in WebEx to raise your hand, or press *3 on your phone's keypad to also get into the queue here. Oh, we do have a new person here. Okay, Stephanie Dahl. Would you like to be on video?
No, thank you.
Okay, well, we'll just take your audio comment. Thank you for joining us tonight. You have your 3 minutes. Let's start you up right now.
Thank you. It won't take that long. I'm curious, is it possible, given the number of Caltrans representatives who appear to be participating in this session, that some of the questions that have been raised by the previous speakers might be addressed, since they are of great concern, and the answers to them, I think, will inform the additional comments that will be submitted prior to the May 20 deadline. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie, for your question and comment there. Tonight, we are only taking comments from all attendees, and because we did receive a number of questions, we will make sure that those questions are put onto an FAQ, which will be put onto the website for everybody to see responses. We're unfortunately not doing a Q&A tonight as part of the public comment session, as this is a comment session only. But thank you so much for coming tonight and making your comment and asking a question. Anybody else would like to join us on making a comment? We have 24 minutes left for comments. Anybody would like to join us with a comment? Okay, well, it looks like we don't have any additional commenters, but because we are at the 7:06 time period and we have about 24 minutes left, what we are going to do is, if you've already provided a comment and would like to make additional comment, please do raise your hand and let us know if you would like to be put back into the queue for any additional comments. And if you have not made a comment yet, definitely raise your hand and we will get you into the queue as well. Any additional comments?
Matt, it looks like we have a few people that have entered the queue again.
Okay, let's go down the list. Well, I guess we'll go down the list one by one.
Perfect.
Okay, since Rio is at the top of the list and your hand is still up, Rio, would you like to make any additional comments?
Say yes.
Yes, I would like to. Yes.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Actually, it's her friend here that has the question, or what I'd like to see anyway. So everybody says that engineers say this and the engineers say that, but I haven't actually seen any real engineering reports on either side that we can dig into who did it and how it's done and all that sort of stuff. Because for me, it comes down to an engineering question. If it's possible to save the Albion Bridge and keep it going, you know, for a long time into the future, then I'm into that. But if it isn't possible to make it safe, then you need to accept the inevitable. So I would really like to be able to review the engineering data on both sides of the argument, because to me, you know, it just does come down to that. So anyway, that's all I have to say, and thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. Would you like to state your name just for our record so that we can get your, we'll get your comment in, but put a name to it?
Yeah, no, I'd be happy to. My name is Jonathan Peakall, Peakall, and I'm an Albion resident of, I don't know, like 25 or 27 years or something. And I love that bridge, but it has to be, you know, engineeringly possible to save it. And I just don't have all the data.
Okay, no problem. Thank you, Jonathan, for providing us with your comment. Okay, next up we have, let's check caller user number 13 with the 707-937 number. Do you have an additional comment? You're still in the queue. Okay, looks like there's no comment there. Let's try Dobie Dolphin again. Maybe the third time is a charm. Dobie, do you have a comment that you would like to share with us? And hopefully your microphone's working. Okay. Well, unfortunately, it looks like Dobie's microphone is not working, and we'll hopefully send in an email or a US mail version of a written comment to us. We have Rixan still in the queue. Rixan, would you like to make any additional comments?
Yes, just a short one.
Okay, go ahead.
A comment on the format of the meeting. For one thing, we can't see who the attendees are. We can only see the participants. Secondly, when asked to raise hands, the people on a tablet cannot see a raised hand icon. So there was a lot of searching to do before we could figure out how to do that. For a third thing, they've mentioned a couple times, please send in an email, but there's no email address listed on the page to send it to. And to just say send it to Caltrans is, you know, lost in the ether. So those are my comments. There's also a chat box, but that is not able to chat. I wanted to just enter in the chat that we can't find the raised hand, but that's not possible. That's it.
Hey,
Thanks.
thank you, Roxanne. Yeah, so as I mentioned before, when it comes to the Caltrans via email or US mail or sending in your comment, there's an additional slide after the public comment session that I will cover on how to do that. In addition, if you go to albionriverbridge.com, there is an online brochure there that is almost like our mailer that gives you a comment form as well as the different modes of making a comment and the information to get to that as well. But I'll cover that in a minute. So thank you so much for your comment. We have next in the queue call-in user number 10 with the 510517 number. Let's see if you have any additional comments for tonight.
Yes, I do. This is Allie Van Zee.
Thank you, Allie.
Hey, so I do want to dovetail on the comments about the format for the meeting. I think you're going to get a lot more attendance if you pick a public venue where we can be masked, where we can sit and show our support for the bridge in greater numbers. This is a very difficult format for a lot of the users. Dolby, as you can see, has had a problem, and I'm sure there are other people who would love to comment but haven't been able to. With regard to the question about the engineering report, there is a published engineer's report. I believe it is on our Facebook page. So for that user who asked about not having an engineer's report on either side, the Albion Bridge stewards did have these two structural engineers who are experts in vehicular traffic timber trestle bridges across the world come out and review this bridge, and we do have their report on our Facebook page. So if you have access to Facebook, there is a Save Albion Bridge Facebook page, and I believe those comments are on there. Barring that, you can certainly reach out to any of the attendees if you know anybody who spoke tonight, and we can get that copy to you, because it is an illuminating report that talks about the sturdiness of this bridge, the timbers, the way it was constructed, but of course, misuse by Caltrans of the contractors that they have used for repair and maintenance of this bridge. And with correct maintenance, the bridge has at least 75 more years of service to this community. So there is no need for replacement at this time. That's it. Thanks.
Okay, thank you so much, Allie. I really appreciate your additional comment. And I just want to remind everybody that this public meeting that we are holding tonight virtually is just one of the modes in which you can send in your comments. There is our hotline, which I will talk about in a few minutes about the number to reach us, in addition to the emailing Caltrans as well as mailing in a public comment. So this is one mode of many that you can utilize to send in your comments. But thank you so much for your comment. It was much appreciated. Next up, I think we have Stephanie Dahl. Let's unmute her and see if she would like to provide any additional comments.
Thank you. I would. This is
Thank you,
Stephanie
Steph.
Dahl, and I appreciated hearing that there would be no answers to questions tonight. I'm wondering, when will the FAQs be posted to the website?
I will have to, let's see, Liza or Frank with Caltrans, would you like to chime in on timing for an FAQ so that we could provide them with that answer?
Thank you, Matthew. This is Frank Demling. We have quite a few emails in our Albion inbox to pour through, as well as the comments from tonight. So it's going to be kind of difficult to really put a date on when we'd have that FAQ posted. I would imagine that we'll target 2 to 3 weeks from now to start posting those. But again, given the number of comments this evening and the number of emails we've received, it will be an iterative process. So we will begin that as soon as possible. And again, with the comments that we've already received this evening, plus those emails that we know are going to continue to pour in, we'll continue to add that FAQ page once they become available. Thank you, Matthew.
Will
Okay,
they
thank you
be
so much.
available, excuse me, will they be available prior to the deadline for submitting additional comments?
No, they will not.
Thank you.
And please, if you do have a comment, again, tonight's the perfect place to verbalize your comment at the virtual meeting. But again, within the next few weeks here until the deadline, you do have the opportunity to send it in via email, US mail, or call our hotline. Just want to remind everybody about that, and we'll go over that in a few minutes. Let's see here. I think next up we have Norbert Dahl. If Norbert would like to make an additional comment.
Thank you. I trust you can hear me.
Yes, we can. And do you want to remain on audio, or would you like to go back on video?
Video is great. I will.
Yeah, let's put Norbert on video, and then we will restart his time clock.
Okay,
Thank
Norbert, you'll be able to turn on your camera.
My camera is on.
Perfect. We can see you.
All right. Good evening again.
Again.
Thank you for the iterative process here, which is exactly what a scoping meeting, I think, should be. I want to follow up on this joint EIR-EIS. I just reviewed the Caltrans flyer and the newspaper legal notice, which are limited to the NOP and the NOI for the NEPA EIS. I find no NOP for preparation of the CEQA EIR as CEQA requires. Therefore, I request that Caltrans duly notice the NOP for the state EIR and open a 30-day scoping comment period on it, because otherwise a crucial element of the combined EIR-EIS process will have been precluded erroneously. So I appreciate Caltrans colleagues focusing on that and providing the appropriate mailed, emailed, and newspaper legal notice for the EIR NOP. Thank you very much. Good evening.
Thank you, Norbert. Thank you for the additional comment, and we will definitely look into that. Okay, so next up we have Jim on the list here to possibly make an additional comment. Jim?
Yes, hi. Thanks again, and no need to activate video here. I'll be brief.
Okay.
An attendee at the meeting commented that he would be interested in seeing engineering documents on what he called both sides, it's worth noting, of course, that on the Caltrans site, the albionriverbridge.com website, it includes the most recent bridge inspection reports, which although do definitely point out some maintenance needs that the bridge had, again, many of them due to neglect over the years, but also state again and again that many elements of the bridge are in good condition. And to provide some data on, quote, the other side, unquote, if you go to Google and do a search for this phrase, Albion Bridge Engineering Report, Albion Bridge Engineering Report, the very first hit that you'll get is a report that was done by a couple of independent professional engineers, experts in timber structures, who provide a more objective assessment of the condition of the bridge, and that is where you'll find comments along the lines of it's beautifully designed and not in any need of immediate replacement. They also point out some of the failings in some of Caltrans maintenance attempts in recent years, such as filling spalling cracks in some of the timber with epoxy in such a way that would actually trap moisture and accelerate decay in those in some of those timbers. So again, that report is on the web. If you do a search for the phrase Albion Bridge Engineering Report on Google, that will be the first hit that you receive. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jim, for that information. Thank you for the additional comment. Next up, we have call-in user number 15. If you would like to make an additional comment. Oh, I think you have to mute one of your devices. You may have a computer and a phone going at the same time. Go ahead. Call-in user number 15 at 707-357. Okay, there's no activity on that one. Thank you so much. Okay, so it is 7:22 p.m. and do we have any additional comments before we move on? Anybody from the attendee list that would like to jump in for one last comment? Okay, it looks like Anne Marie has rejoined us, so let's unmute for Anne Marie.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. How are you doing?
Fine. It's fine if you have the video on.
Okay, let's put her back on video.
Okay, Marie, you should be able to turn your video on now.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Okay. Hi.
There you go.
Can you hear me?
Yep, we can see and hear you.
Right. It was mentioned importance of the nature around the Albion River. Also, it's one of the best estuaries. The seaweed is like better than anywhere else around this coast. And, you know, you go down there and you constantly see critters, you know, everywhere. And so that has to be looked at with that project. In addition, the archaeological investigation happened without a permit and endangers the Albion River Bridge. They came in with, you know, huge machinery. When you think about archaeology, you think about hand tools, and they used old maps, and having no permit is just beyond acceptable. On the north end, it was mentioned disaster which was left behind from cutting down the eucalyptus trees. There's invasive species and nobody's willing to deal with them. So Caltrans doesn't have a good track record. I couldn't, you know, different functions don't work. It's a really complex system you have here set up. But I do hope you have not a virtual meeting, and that you have a second meeting, because a lot of people would attend if they would figure out how to deal with this program that you have. So it I just want to point out that We have been in communication with Caltrans for many years. Some of the meetings are just Delphi technique meetings where we can only ask one question to one person and get one answer that nobody else can hear. And the fact that often people are not notified when Caltrans actually has a list of 100 people, if not more, that they can contact is unacceptable. And I know you have an area on your webpage now. In terms of the webpage, you erased everything that was there before, and I know you did it for ADA reasons or whatever. Please put the information back that people know how to access the information. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anne Marie, for your additional comment. And right now, what I'd like to say is that wraps up our public comment session. Oops, let me turn my video back on. I was trying to, there we go. Let's see here. Okay, here we go. Sorry about that. Okay, thank you so much for your comment. That wraps up our video, our public comment session for this evening. Thanks for everybody's comments. We had a lot of great community input tonight. So as I mentioned before, next go and talk about how to comment after tonight's meetings. So the submission of comments on the environmental scope of the project are invited from all interested parties, and thank you everybody that attended tonight. The public comment period began on Friday, April 15, 2022, and all comments must be received by Friday, May 20th, 2022. There's a lot of time for you to still send in your comments by way of U.S. mail to the California Department of Transportation. Attention to Liza Walker, Caltrans District 1 at 1656 Union Street, Eureka, California, 95501. You can call the project hotline at 707-441-5672, and we could take your comment that way as well. You can also email Caltrans at albionbridge@dot.ca.gov. That's another mode of sending in your comment. Or you can send your comment to Caltrans by mail-in comment form. That mail-in comment form, we have a direct mail that went out to the Albion community with a brochure and a mail-in comment form that you should have received at least about a week or so ago. Or if you don't have that, you can visit albionriverbridge.com to download a copy of the project's online brochure that has the mail-in comment form attached. In addition, it has all of our modes of comments on there via US mail with the address, the project hotline with the phone number, the email with the email address, all in that the brochure, as well as if you just visit albionriverbridge.com, all of our resources are on that page. Next slide. Okay, great. So to cover our next steps after this meeting, Caltrans will prepare a scoping summary after the completion of the public comment period. In addition, we will be also culling together all of the questions that you had tonight and putting it into an FAQ and putting that onto the website in due time. The comments will be reviewed and recorded into the draft environmental document thereafter. And then the circulation of the draft environmental document will be made available for public review and comment by April 2023. Well, that's it for tonight's meeting. We thank you for attending Caltrans virtual public scoping meeting. As mentioned prior, we had a lot of great comments from the community tonight, and we encourage you to still also send in detailed comments to Caltrans in writing via US mail or email, or call the hotline. A video of this virtual public scoping meeting will be made available and posted to albionriverbridge.com soon for everybody to view tonight's meeting, and for those who weren't in attendance with us tonight. Again, we thank you On behalf of Caltrans and the project team, please have a great rest of your evening, and thank you for joining us.